Hi, so this is my January wrap up. I'm not going to lie, I did not expect to have such a good reading month in January. So I'm going to go through some stats because I know some people like stats. Also, I have been taking more rigorous notes in my planner. So when I've done that, I've realised just how many stats I've got. So I was like, do you know what? Now that I'm kind of like keeping an eye on that, I might as well go through these stats with you. So I'm going to go through the breakdown and then I'm going to talk about the books and kind of go through all that. So in total in January, I read 13 books, which is not like me at all. If you know me, I am very much like a 4 to 5 books a month. So to read like 13 is insane. I'm very, very happy. I'm also a little bit scared of what's going to happen in the future because like I don't read this much. Am I going to go into a slump? I really hope I don't burn myself out. All of those things. So in total, I read 5,930 pages. My average rating was 4.3, which I think is really, really good. I will go into what those are. I'm also keeping track of how many authors of colour I've read, which ones were ebooks, print, audio, if they were rereads or if they were a first time read for me. So I'm going to go through those as well. I have read 2 books by authors of colour. I read 5 ebooks, 6 print books and 6 audiobooks. Some of them I did dual, so I would read the audiobook while I was listening to the audiobook while I was reading the book. Of the 13 that I read, 3 of them were rereads and 10 of them were books that I'd read for the first time. I also borrowed 4 books from places like Kindle Unlimited and the library. I will go through those when we get to them. And then of the 9 books that I owned, 4 of them were released pre-2024 and 2 of them were hauled in 2024, whether or not that was freely or if it was ones that I bought. For example, one I got on my Audible membership, the Premium Plus membership. So like that one, I didn't pay for it, but I'd still hold it. And the other 3 were the rereads. So with that, let's go into the books. So the first book that I read this year was The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. And this was an ARC I got from NetGalley and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I should have read this ages ago and I didn't. And it was phenomenal. It was so good. Ashley Poston is really, really good at what she does. And I really love the way that she has her humour mixed in with all of like the really sad things, and she's really, really good at writing a good like gel together story where it is these 2 things meeting, and I really, really adore that about her. I will say this, I did not expect to love it as much as I did. I know that Chloe was really, really happy when I loved it so much, and it was genuinely just a great way to start the year. It was the best way to start the year, I think, because I really enjoyed the book. The book was really, really fun, and it also kind of just like set me up for a good reading month because I was like, yeah. The next book, there are a few on this wrap up that I'm not going to be able to talk about too much because it's for a vlog that is coming out sometime this month, and I don't really want to like give too much away. And if you want to hear my thoughts on the books I don't talk about, watch that vlog. But the next book that I read was A Game of Hearts and Heist by Ruby Rowe. This was a book I got on Kindle Unlimited and it was a 3-star. This is one of the books I'm not going to be talking about because it was one of the books for this vlog. It was a 3-star. I was really, really hoping it would be good. This is a sapphic heist book. I don't want to say much else about that. It was like sold to me as a spicy sapphic heist book and it didn't deliver, sadly, and that's all I'm going to say. The next book I actually have a physical copy of, and that is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas. This was a reread for Mass-Along. This was 5 stars, obviously. I really enjoyed the reread of this. I'm really enjoying looking at this with a more critical eye and being able to see all of the world building that Sarah J Maas does, and it's just great. It is fantastic. I really, really love Sarah J Maas's writing, if you didn't already know, and yeah, I'm excited to explore more of her books in the future, and I'm excited to read all of her books this year and kind of see if any of my opinions have changed on anything. They won't have. The next book that I want to talk about, again, I can't really talk about too much because it is for the vlog, but that is The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. I read this over the weekend when I was at Becca's, and I tried to read this a fair few times and it had never gone in. I give this a 4-star. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about it because, yeah, I don't think I need to tell you what The Lies of Loch Lamora is about. Heist book, found family, that type of stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about it because there's a vlog coming and I spoke about it in depth. Well, kind of in depth. It's a spoiler-free vlog, but I talked about it a lot in the vlog. The next book I read, I will say that this is a placeholder one because I could not find the actual physical book, just the dust jacket. With how my brain goes, it doesn't surprise me that I misplaced the book. So there is a book in this that isn't it, but it's Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. This was a reread in preparation for Flame and Shadow. It was a 5 stars. It was a reread. I love this series. I love Sarah J Maas's writing. I don't think I need to tell you too much about this. I'm not going to tell you anything about these books because yeah, but it was a reread. I knew what I was going into. It was really, really nice to kind of see things in this book that she set up for the next books that I'd never really noticed, having only read Sky and Breath once. And obviously I read this before Sky and Breath, but I didn't know what happened in Sky and Breath, so I didn't see all of like the paths she was paving. It was really, really interesting to see. The next book I want to talk about is Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Barron. This was an arc that me and Becca and Tori won when we were at Yalk, and me and Becca read this month. We buddy read it and I enjoyed it. I don't think this is not my favourite Kaylin Barron book. This was a 4-star for me. I loved You're Not Supposed to Die at Night. Obviously that was my favourite book of last year. This was really good. I really enjoyed it. I just don't think that it held up in the way that the others did. This book is a Snow White retelling. I loved how it was done. I think it's fantastic. It just fell a little bit flat in a few places for me. Most of it was incredible, but there was just something missing in this book that I did not love compared to the other books that I've read of Kaylin Barron. I will be reading more from Kaylin Barron though, because I have This Poison Heart duology that I need to read, and I'm hoping to read that this year. But yeah, this one just fell just a little bit short for me. The next couple of books I borrowed from the library. It was on my library app, and it was the Mighty Nine Origins. So I got to read Yasha's story, Caleb's story, and Molly Mock's story. So that means that I only have like a few left to read from that are out, and then they are releasing new ones this year, which I'm really excited for. But I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about this, not too much, but the first one I read was Yasha. I gave this a 4-star. I don't love the art in this book. The art in this book really let it down for me. I loved seeing the story, and I think that Yasha's story, especially getting to see her backstory in more depth in that, because I don't think that was addressed too much in the campaign because Ashley Johnson was not there enough due to having work. Do not blame her for that. But I feel as if it was a really, really nice insight into what happened to Yasha. But the one thing that really, really let this down was the art style was not my taste. Don't get me wrong, it was beautiful in places, but I didn't love it. It was the same artist as the Not the Brave Ones, and the Not the Brave one was better, if I'm being perfectly honest. It was not my cup of tea. I've seen a lot of people saying the same thing. It was unfortunate, but I didn't love it. The next volume that I read was the Caleb one. This was a 5-star. I will always be one for a Liam O'Brien sad boy moment, and Caleb is an amazing sad boy. It was really nice to see how he got entangled in the world, what exactly happened. Like there was things that we didn't really get to see in the campaign. There was things that like were explored upon more, and I love it. I loved it. The art style was incredible, and it was really sad to kind of see the moments that we've seen in the campaign play out. I don't want to tell you anything that happens in these because like they are backstory for the characters, and there is a there obviously the graphic novels are there. They also have the campaign, and they are bringing out an animated series. So I don't want to tell you anything because if I do, it might spoil things. So I'm not going to tell you too much about this and what is in it. The last one that I read was the Molly Mock one. Molly Mock is one of my favourite characters. I think he is a lot of people's favourite characters. And this was a 5-star. The art was so beautiful. Molly is a very ostentatious character, and the book, the art was very ostentatious. It was phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed it. And I feel as if it was probably my favourite because it was things that we knew about Molly, but we didn't really get to see. And I love it. The next book I read was House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. We're not surprised. I was doing a full reread, so I reread this. Again, very similarly to Crescent City, the House of Earth and Blood. It was lovely to kind of read it and see what this book was and figure that out. And I really enjoyed it. I loved rereading this. This was only my second time rereading it, and seeing all of the things and knowing how it ended, I was like, okay, I'm really, really down for this. I had forgotten a lot of things, I'm not gonna lie. It had been 2 years since I read it, so that's not surprising, but 5 stars. The next book that I read was Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I'm not going to talk about this one either because this is also for the vlog. However, if you do want to see any pressing thoughts on this book, there is the live show that I'm doing over on Becca's channel for the By the Angel Along. But I enjoyed this. This was a 3-star. It was okay. I don't think it was my favourite, but I enjoyed this. I will talk about it more on Tuesday when we have it, but I finished it. I'm happy. It's another book that I read. The second to last book, yes, I read two more books, and this one came out on the 30th, so like, yeah. But the second to last book that I read was obviously House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J Maas. I took the day off. I sat and I listened to the audiobook. This didn't come until the day after. I was a little bit annoyed at that, but you know, I'm not going to talk about anything in this book because this book has only been out for like a week, and some people don't read that fast. So I don't want to like say to people, hey, this book is this, that and the other. This was a 5-star. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to take a thing from Becca's video and say if I see you commenting spoilers, they will be deleted because absolutely not. We are not here to spoil books. I really liked it. I honestly am already thinking about rereading this, and I automatically got like writing vibes. Like I really wanted to write after reading this, and I don't get that after reading books. So phenomenal. It's so pretty. The only thing that I will say about this is, and I don't know if anyone else has noticed it, my other 2 books have like the buttery like dust jacket, and then this one's not, and it's like slightly weirded me out because I want a buttery dust jacket to go with the others, but that's just a really minor inconvenience for me. It's so good. I cannot wait to reread this. I will be rereading this at the end of the year with Mass Along. Who knew? And the final book that I read, I had planned to finish this before I finished House of Flame and Shadow. However, it did not end up being that way. And that was Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. I'm not going to talk about this one because it is also for the vlog. It is a book where there is a paladin whose god dies, and I gave it a 3. This book was different to what I anticipated, so it got a 3. It was still good. It was still decent. I just don't think it was the best. But that was my wrap up. I read a lot more than I anticipated, and I read a lot of chunky books. Like, yeah, there was a lot of chunky books on my TBR this month. I will not be doing a TBR for February because I am doing more stuff for vlogs and I don't want to spoil those vlogs. So I can tell what I'm going to do is like a very mini TBR on the end of this one because I might as well. I'm doing the tandem read of Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, so those will be on my TBR for February. I also want to reread Empire of the Vampire in hopes that I can get to Empire of the Damned when it comes out. I'm not going to be reading that on release day. I haven't taken the day off, but I can't wait to get my hands on that and I can't wait to read it. So I want to reread Empire of the Vampire before I read that. Me and Becca are doing a buddy read for Count Your Lucky Stars by Alexandria Belle Fleur. That is the third book in the Written in the Stars trilogy, I think it's called. And I'm really excited to read that. And then I don't think I have any others that I can really talk about. No, I don't think so. I think those are all of the books that I can talk about. But yeah, I think that's it. Let me guys know what your favourite book was this month. Did you read any of the books that I've read? Did you enjoy any of the books that I read? Let me know and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye guys.